After more than 3 years of waiting, speculation and anticipation, Star Wars Episode 7 The Force Awakens is here. Was it worth the wait? Let's review and find out. Set 30 years after the destruction of the second Death Star in Return of the Jedi, the 7th installment in cinema's biggest and greatest science fiction saga focuses on Finn, a rogue stormtrooper who abandons a military organization known as the First Order, longing for a more fulfilling life and purpose. He lands on the desert planet of Jakku, where he encounters a scavenger named Rey, and together, alongside old favourites Han Solo and Chewbacca, they join forces to fight against the ruthless General Hux and powerful Kylo Ren, who send the First Order in pursuit of a ball-shaped droid known as BB-8, after it is tasked with protecting a valuable possession. There's definitely much more to the story than this, but out of respect for the millions of fans who want to go into this film with little knowledge of it, I've decided to keep my description of the premise deliberately vague. The extensive marketing campaign, which excluded many plot points and major characters, has remained secretive for a reason. This is definitely a motion picture event best experienced unspoiled, and what an experience it is. If you're feeling somewhat cautious about it though, I certainly wouldn't blame you. Many of us will never forget that fateful month of May 1999 when The Phantom Menace opened following major hype and anticipation, and how crushed and disheartened we felt after seeing it, even if we didn't admit that's how we felt at the time. Undoubtedly, the sheer magnitude of disappointment was one that fans of the series don't want to have to go through again. Fortunately, visionary director J.J. Abrams brings Star Wars back to the big screen in a huge way. Although initially reluctant to take the job, which forced him to back out of directing Star Trek Beyond, Abrams' commitment to the project completely pays off. He's a prime fit for the franchise, and with the help of Empire and Jedi co-writer Lawrence Kasdan, he has successfully crafted a sequel that truly does the original trilogy proud. John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, Oscar Isaac, Domhnall Gleeson and Adam Driver make up some of the new additions to the cast, while Harrison Ford, Peter Mayhew and Carrie Fisher are among the returning fan favourites. It goes without saying that seeing them return to their iconic roles once more is fantastic, especially considering how most of them haven't appeared in the franchise since Return of the Jedi 32 years ago. While the new characters don't receive as much development as I would have liked, they are still interesting enough to keep me invested in what was going to happen to them, and much of that does come from the appealing performances of the cast. Nobody goes to see a Star Wars film expecting stellar acting, and indeed nobody here will win any major awards, but this is still a very likeable group of actors who all sink in, or in the case of the legends, sink back in, to their respective roles with the utmost confidence and energy. Boyega and Ridley are particularly great. Their dialogue and deliveries feel very natural, and the way they interact and play off each other helps make their characters and chemistry feel believable and authentic. Gleeson and Driver are also excellent as the antagonists, the former an unrelenting figure of authority, and the latter a dark and aggressive warrior also carrying a heavy load of personal emotional weight as the First Order persists through their mission. The narrative meanwhile remains easy to follow and faultlessly paced throughout, ramping up the urgency during the film's furious and thrilling chases, battles and duels, while slowing down comfortably to allow character interaction and plot progression to play their parts as required. This results in a well-handled story where nothing ever feels rushed or sluggish. It does, however, feel a bit derivative. A number of sequences and series of events bear some similarities to A New Hope, and at times the resemblances between the two can feel a little too close. As expected, but definitely still worth commending, the technical aspects are nothing short of astonishing. Striving to capture the aesthetic style of the original as faithfully as possible, Abrams opted to use scale models and practical effects over CGI, as well as shoot the movie on 35mm film prints, along with a few scenes in 65mm with IMAX cameras. The combination of the two not only makes the visuals that much more remarkable, it also makes the action sequences that much more exciting and the saga's ever-expanding universe feel that much more immersive. I have nothing against digital production, but that cinematic texture that comes with film just adds that little extra layer of movie magic that really makes a difference. The entire experience is also backed by a terrific new score from John Williams. Maybe not his most memorable work, but everything from the sweeping strings to the pulse-pounding brass and the soaring crescendos still complements the film with a majestic and emotive soundtrack from one of cinema's greatest composers. With the aforementioned lack of character development and feelings of deja vu with a number of plot points and turns, The Force Awakens doesn't quite reach perfection, but despite its faults, it is still an endlessly fun, suspenseful, riveting and engrossing addition to the saga that encapsulates all the spirit and magic of the Star Wars films we know and love. I can't say that it is guaranteed to live up to all expectations. I mean, a movie event as massive as this is obviously going to disappoint some viewers, but I can't imagine it leaving a truly sour taste in anyone's mouth. At least, not the way The Phantom Menace did. Even with its flaws, this is still a magnificent experience I'm sure I'll find myself going back to see again at least once or twice.
Just let it in.